Do you know the value of a world-class reputation? Millions of dollars and decades of experience? But what if I told you what's behind that facade? Today I will take you behind the scenes of one of the most renowned hair transplant clinics in the world and show you what the clients themselves see. I will be spending 2 days at the HLC Clinic. I want to share my observations as an honest expert who has flown all over the world and seen thousands of results. I have not been paid by anyone to show the clinic, nor vice versa. Everything will be, as always, as honest as possible. Let's go.
We need your opinion on it.
Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the video. If you have any questions, you can ask directly in the comments under the video. You know, my first introduction to the name HLC Clinic was back in 2020. It was on an internet forum. HLC was positioned right away as a clinic not for everyone, primarily because of its price. Here it is important to realize that the prices of the world's doctors are about the same. It is about €3 per graft. My personal meeting with the clinic happened unexpectedly at a private event of world doctors. I met the medical director, Dr. Ozgur. We had a professional dialogue, after which he invited me to visit the clinic in person. And after a couple of months, I accepted the invitation and flew in for a personal inspection of the HLC Clinic. HLC Clinic provides its patients with accommodation at the clinic itself. This is at least convenient. There is no need to look for a hotel or waste time on transfers. Let me show you the room where patients are accommodated. So here's my room. I don't know if all rooms are the same or not. They told me later that my room was the best, so I'll ask to see the others, of course. So there's a bed, workstation, TV, toilet, just like in a hotel. Shampoo, shower gel. Here is essentially everything you need. A spacious room, comfortable bed, modern bathroom, TV, air conditioning. The accommodation is quite simple, but it is a clinic, no frills. And the clinic itself is in the same building. Oh, and there's a box of, especially for me, and candy by the bed. Well, thank you. Good morning. I am ready to explore the clinic and everything I will be shown. In general, my first impression of this infrastructure is very positive. Everything is well organized. But let's dig a little deeper and look at the most important thing, how the surgeries are performed here. Well, let's get started.
Hello, good morning.
Good
morning, doctor.
Here.
How are you?
I'm fine. You're recording?
Yeah.
Great. Welcome. Welcome to our consultation room. Please have a seat. The name of the clinic is HLC. Actually, I start 2003. It's my 20 years in this business. I'm a hair surgeon. So we start first just with the hair transplantation. After a couple of years, we also focus on the hair loss, and we try to treat the hair loss patient. Now, after 20 years, there is a big center.
I want to make an important disclaimer. Over the years, I have formed a clear position. I do not particularly support clinics that do everything. Hair transplants, nose jobs, breast augmentation, and so on. If the clinic still works in different directions, it should be a serious base with tremendous experience. At least 20 years of practice, and each area should be supported by existing expertise and infrastructure. Alyona tells me, there are 4 departments: hair transplantation, which is on the 2nd floor. Is this where we are now? Yes, there is also plastic surgery, dentistry, and cosmetology.
6 hair surgeons and 3 plastic surgeons, 2 dermatologists, and also 3 doctors working in the cosmetic part.
So, what do we have here? Here we do facial cleansing, also medical injections, that is cosmetology procedures and medical injections, that is Botox, mesotherapy, Profilo. We have it all.
More than 100 people are working in our clinic. I'm also have some roles in the societies, mostly in hair surgery societies. One of them is FUA Europe. I'm the president of FUA Europe. This is a short summary. I like to do hair surgery, to treat the hair loss patient, and we continue to treat our patient with much as possible high quality and update technologies. This morning, one patient from Germany, 40 years old, Note 7. We decide to establish very conservative hairline. And I will now measure and calculate how many donor hair we can get from him. And also we will recommend using some beard hair. It will be just scalp using by scalp hair to front and mixed scalp and beard on the top. A safe plan. We'll see. Maybe you will like, maybe not. We need your opinion on it.
Sure, with pleasure. Why did you choose this field?
So, it's life. It was 2003. I graduated in 2000. One clinic has contact with me. They told me they found a needle, as it was a different needle. FUE was not absolutely started. The hair transplantation was 20 years ago, mostly FUT, the strip method, as you know. And FUE was not actually FUE, it was punch method. Doctors try to use big punches. They actually don't know what means follicular unit excision. And then this needle, we worked a lot on this needle. I have actually the patent of this needle. The name is bifurcated needle. We also still using this needle for body extraction, body hair extraction. So I worked a couple of months with this team, and I saw it works. It is a great system, and also I make a research. Not too much doctor or center can use this needle, this punch, and I feel that it's a great idea to continue work with this needle. And hair transplantation, also I'm a man, I have also hair loss, how important for people is, and just I feel that it will work. And then I performed 2-3 years with this punch, some patient, and I got really good results. And then people noticed me from Europe, mostly from Germany.
The first step is to plan the front line.
2010, I built a bigger clinic, and I noticed that I should work with some of colleagues because it is too much work and too much stress for one doctor. We should be a team. And then worldwide patient come to Ankara for these treatments. And of course we improve our work. Also meeting some of very important names in hair transplant industry was my chance. One of them is Dr. John Cole. He changed and he improved my work in this business. The other one is also very important for me is the Lars Heitmann from Switzerland. I also worked a lot of time with him, and I see if people, one doctor can concentrate on the job without any nurse, how can improve the results and how good can be the hair transplantation. Making for every patient separately long-term plan is very important. After that, the design, the aesthetic of the hairline, it should be correct. too flat hairline, too low hairline. Daha fazla konservatif olmak.
7 gibi düşünün. Eğer biz bu 7'nin aynısını buraya yaparsak.
Important announcement. During these 4 years of meticulous work and selection of doctors all over the world, I have practically stopped working with clinics. I don't really trust clinics anymore and work directly with doctors depending on your budget, on your specific situation, to be able to control personally and get stable results under my own supervision.
Anlaştık.
Doctor, I'm sorry. Could you explain shortly in English about numbers?
We marked the front area and we measured. It was 140. And also I calculate same time how many graft we have for this first surgery. It is 4,000 graft. So for the front area, 140 times 40, we need more than 5,000 graft, which is not possible. That's why we should change something. We have options. We can put per square centimeter less density, like 30, and we know that the result will be less. That's why, of course, we should decide together with our patient, and he would like to have 40, a little better, more dense result, and which is not possible. That's why we decrease the area.
The math of the calculations is really impressive. I intentionally do not show many nuances. Unfortunately, some dishonest clinics may use this information to create the appearance of working like the world's doctors. And you can believe it. That is what has been happening for the last 3 years. Remakes of my videos are made, and what I show as in the world clinics, and what other doctors, for example, pass off as their own. So be careful.
You can get 25% in the first surgery. It means if you accept 80 graft in 1 square centimeter, it means you can access 20 per square centimeter. Then you will measure this safe zone area. Let's say it is 150 square centimeter times 20. You can harvest 3,000 in one session. This is the limit. If patient has less number of graft per square centimeter, or it's visible thinning, then of course you can decrease number of graft per square centimeter.
We need also extra beard hair, 1,000. The plan will be approximately 5,000, 4,000 scalp hair, 1,000 beard hair.
An important point is the density of graft distribution and the staging of grafting. There are different approaches and the choice depends on the individual case. It is this experience that I use when planning surgery for my clients.
We decide to put less density, like 30, again mix the scalp and the beard. And for that, for the second surgery, we need also again minimum 4,000 graft. This is the long-term plan for our patient.
Hairline design is very important. Extraction, if you cannot extract properly, the hair will not grow. And that's why another important step is the extraction. You should not harm the graft.
And also donor area as well.
Yes, you should not harm the donor area. You should take with much as possible with the thinnest needle and homogeneous. Non-homogeneous extraction also unnatural means unnatural result.
Now we try to find 125 square centimeter for 5,000 graft, and we will count it. If it's small, we will increase it. If it's big, then we will decrease it. It takes time, but there is no another method.
You know, I travel a lot around the world visiting leading clinics and doctors. Often they open the doors of operating rooms to me, which are closed even to other doctors, because I am not a competitor. I carefully study all the new techniques, analyze how the industry is developing, what can be improved, and how to get these results for my clients.
Now, a small break. The consultation is done. After the small break, we will start the surgery for him. We can perform 2,000 graft per day, and I did a plan with 5,000 for him. That's why we need actually 3 days. In first day 2,000, second day 2,000, and the last day, and with one session, we will perform the last 1,000 graft, and this surgery will be done.
Why you do that? Like compare with many clinics do it in one day.
It needs time. We should work with one of the patient approximately 20 hours, and we cannot finish it in one shot. We cannot work faster because the manual FUE takes time. There is some details, maybe too much details, but it's just for one graft. We should spend 5-6 seconds, and doing it 1,000 and 1,000 takes really time, and patient and doctor getting tired. That's why better to divide in sessions.
Let's go over to surgery room and I will show you how we are performing our surgeries.
And approximately per one day, how many hours?
Extraction takes for 1,000 graft approximately 1.5, and for the implantation also. One session with 1,000 graft extraction and implantation takes without break 3 hours, and with breaks is 3.5, maybe 4 hours. It means that 2 times 4 hours. Totally 8 hours work in every day.
We have 2 hotels near the clinic, and here is our hotel, which is next to the clinic. But when it's crowded, we take patients next to the clinic. How many rooms are there? We have 11 rooms here. How many is the maximum on the day of surgery? Depends on the surgery. If it's a hair transplant, if you have 2 days of surgery, it's 4 days. If it's 3 days, it's 5 days. So it depends on the patient's surgery. This is our wonderful room. This is where they spend their time. Here we have everything that we put here for patients. It's all free. In the refrigerator here, they have a little fridge. I'll open it here. Here, it's all free. If a patient runs out of something, he tells the front desk and they refill it for free. Especially after surgery, you need to drink a lot of water to reduce swelling. Sodas are not harmful? No. Here they have a bathtub, a shower. Here are all the accessories that you need. There's a robe, slippers, everything like in a hotel. It's all amenities. Patients ask for it very much. Because they come here as if they were in a hospital. They ask if you have toiletries, soap, shampoo, gel, and all that.
Would you like to see the surgery room?
Sure.
The doctor invites me into the operating room. I put on sterile clothes, shoe covers, cap, robe as usual, and now we will see the most interesting thing.
Now we are a team, but actually it is not a teamwork. It is we have different surgery rooms and different patients. Every doctor, each doctor should be focused on one patient and should be perform all the surgery. Maybe you know how we are working. We are working with manual FUE and scan place. Both of them should be done all the time by doctors. Nurses has very low effect, very low part in this kind of surgeries, and that's why we are team, but we focus on the patient by one by.
1 year ago, we did transplantation for our patient. Was a good result, and he came for the second visit, and we will cover the crown area with mixed scalp and beard. I will show the photos before and after, and then the plunge consultation, 3,000 graft with 40 density on the crown area. And in every session, because we should mix scalp and beard, we will extract scalp and beard together. We never put the graft again.
With this patient, we use a combined technique. We use grafts from both the donor area of the back of the head and the beard. This allows us to achieve several goals. Firstly, we get more donor material. Secondly, the beard hair has a different structure and thickness, which helps to create a more natural result with proper distribution.
So we will start with this anesthesia. After the anesthesia, we will perform scalp and beard together.
What do you think about robot? robots for hair transplant? Do you think it's a future or
The feature?
like future or it's a feature?
Yeah, I saw a lot of results. I saw the scars. I saw the skin after robotic surgery, not just scar from outside. Also, by cutting, I can feel the differences. Always, I can feel my hand how the skin tight or not is. So I saw some cases has too much fibrosis, and the second procedure with the robotic surgeries always for me is difficult. For micromotor motorized FUE skins after the in the second surgery is much better. Because I say a lot of people come to me for the second surgeries, for the repair cases. I know really what I'm talking about. I can feel how the skin is in the repair surgeries, and I don't think that the robotic surgeries still gives a good quality for the donor area, for the extraction. I feel there is a lot of fibrosis, but I never did a punch biopsies. I never make a study. It's just my feelings from my daily practice.
Usually you cover all patients who like call to the clinic or contact clinic.
Exactly.
Mostly clients from what countries?
50% of our patients are from US, and the other 50% is from the Europe actually. I forgot the Middle East, Israel, but the other part is from Israel.
And it's quite different to make transplant, for example, for Middle East, for Afro, for Caucasian, because different kind of hair.
Exactly. That's why we do examination of the hair before their surgeries. During consultation, we find out the texture of the hair, and then we decide to plan with the patient, with doctors, and so it is different, but they come all over the world.
This is where the process of manual graft harvesting takes place. I intentionally do not show the details of the process. This is delicate work that requires many years of experience and special skills. Each graft is extracted manually with the utmost care. It takes naturally longer than an automated extraction, but the quality is certainly higher. It is such seemingly small details that ultimately determine the results of the entire operation.
Performing it by every doctor perform the same thing.
Even you can have a maybe good hair grow percentage on the implantation area, recipient area, but if you harm the donor area, at the end the result will be unnatural. So the graft after extraction, the graft should stay outside for a while. And this standard is also very important. Graft holding solutions degree, also holding the graft all the time in the solution, and not harming the graft outside. The experienced nurses is also very important. The grafts can die outside on the table. Even you did a good hairline design, good extraction, just the team can make everything too bad for you and for your patient. You should be really carefully.
Perform only manual.
Only manual. And implantation is skin place.
Me, for example, as a patient, I contact clinic, I go to you first.
We have a team who answer all of the emails, and then you send us pictures. We ask some pictures from your donor area, from the area that you want, and then you send us. Then we do the examination first from the pictures, and then we send you a recommendation of the estimation of the grafts. Then we start to talk about the procedure. How's it going?
How long is the process? For example, I text you on Monday, and when I can wait the answer. And
so when we see the email, we say 10 days or 14 days actually.
cardiovascular surgeon. That's why it's working under the loop.
How many doctors do you have?
So we have 6 colleagues now. We are together 6 doctors. We have 4 surgery rooms, and we perform 4 surgeries in the same time.
So after each procedure, like the implantation, he has just performed the implantation, he's taking notes. A medical history of the patients, meaning medication use, any diseases, etc. This is the plan for the operation. The density you can see, so they performed 50 density on a 53 square centimeter area. This is the total of the grafts used. And here they take note of the grafts of every extraction process.
It's like in 3 days, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
What do you think? What makes your clinic special and different from another clinic?
So we have differences. The method is most important difference, in my opinion, because that is most safe technique for extraction, for excision, is manual. We never use motorized technique. Advantages using some technologies is mostly for doctor, not for patient, because we need to work fast. It is advantage for me, not for you. And finishing all the procedure in 1 day is also for me. If my nurse can perform all the implantation part without me, is also advantage for me, not for you. I notice all the advantages. I try to choose the system which has advantages just for patient. This is the everybody agreed on this. Manual FOE is the best and the most safe method for the patient. And by the way, the implantation is stick in place, making holes and immediately putting the graft in the holes one by. It's really difficult, and the doctor should be stay all the time on the surgery room, and under doctor control is also good for patient. And making holes by doctor is also advantage. All the procedures under doctor's control is difficult for doctor, not for the patient.
Right.
We can leave all this surgery to nurses, and more than one nurses can work at the same time. It's also possible. I know it's easy to learn this all kind of
It's what many
procedure.
clinics do.
Yes, I know. I have a lot of colleagues. So this is another method, but I don't say that just only manual FOE and scan place will work. This is the maximum maybe quality. But if you decide to work with motorized or pre-incisions or implanters, there is also to making it with the regular way, with the correct way, and experience is very important. You cannot decide one clinic make pre-incisions, but what is the quality? How is the nurses? How many years they are working the same thing? And they can fix the team for a while or not. Sometimes a lot of clinic try to find nurses, different nurses for every patient. Fixed nurse, educate nurse, experienced nurse is the difference, for example.
What about dental work? What are the main procedures? I mean, implants. We have a lot of patients from America who come here for implants, but all the procedures are done here. We've had patients come from Europe who had a problem with their gums, which is called gum recession, which is when the gums come down and you can see the root of the tooth. Well, that's our dental clinic. It's a kind of fancy clinic. How long has dental been open? Dental's been open for 3 years. And hair transplants by comparison? Well, they've been doing hair transplants since 2003. They've been in business for 20 years. Yes, in the case of HLC, it's probably forgivable, although you decide for yourself because the clinic has more than 2 decades of work under its belt, so there is a huge base, but nevertheless, my position is still the basis for me. I focus on those who deal specifically with hair transplantation, since we are talking about hair transplantation. It's a new clinic, new design, and we only have new technology. We have everything here. So if a patient needs an X-ray, no problem. This is our doctor's lounge. We have an X-ray here. No problem, we take a scan here. But if it is tomography that is needed, we send our patients to a separate place where there are large machines where we can do tomography. I see. Can we a dental check for interest? Yes, we have free dental checkups for our patients. So whoever comes to us for plastic surgery or whoever comes for hair transplantation, for the patients a dental check with x-rays. If you don't take it, it's a different price. But if you just x-ray, the doctor looks at it, does a checkup, it's all free at our clinic.
For example, a customer who don't know anything about hair transplant, it's very difficult to choose any clinic or doctor. He can see a lot of advertising, and how he can choose like clinic for example, 2,000 or 3,000 euro and 10,000 euro. What's the difference? Why he have to go to the good doctor, and how to understand who is the good doctor as well?
It's very important. I'm a member of ISHRS, International Society of Hair Research Surgeons Society. This society is announced last year how you can find the best doctor for you. There is some question and answer. You should ask first who will do your surgery. Is a doctor or not? If the doctor will be there, he or she will perform all the surgery, cutting the skin or not. And the implantation part is also very important.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but also how to understand, is a doctor real doctor or not? Because I know cases, even the clinics, they call like doctor and he's not doctor at all.
But there's some options, like I know there are some websites, forums, and these forums you can read a lot of stories. There is another. You should check not just from the one website. You should check from everywhere, every society, and also you and like yours sites, websites, and systems. Also, accounts is very important.
That's what my work and expertise is all about, dossiers on clinics and doctors, and it's easy enough for me to quickly figure out who is a good doctor or clinic and who is not. It's not just that. Since the first year of my research, I've been using my simplified categorization by type of diner, comparing stomach harm and self-respect. It's the fast food conduit to hair transplants. Then there's shawarma, cafe, restaurant, and haute cuisine. For you, I always try to select the best depending on your request, financial possibilities, location, and actually what you need to do, who will handle it best. A clinic type of restaurant is expensive, but it's like for special occasions. And it's your attitude to yourself and your aesthetics that matters here. Is it a special occasion for you, or is shawarma on the street okay for you? Type cafes are good, tried, and tested options that aspire to be restaurants. And haute cuisine is very expensive, from $50,000, and not for everyone. Let's check my teeth now. I actually just had my teeth done in Bangkok, literally 3 weeks ago. But now let's check what the doctor says, if I've had it done normally, and what still needs to be done.
Hello.
Well, even here at the dentistry, I was able to try it out on myself. Well, I'll say, looking ahead, that the problem was not solved for me here. I managed to have it redone in Argentina, and 5 times cheaper.
How about Russian-speaking clients, patients?
So we have a representative in Russia, and you can contact with him in your own language, and he sent all the details of patient to us.
I am doing regular consultation everywhere, in Russia, in Europe, everywhere. I cannot answer all the questions alone. Of course, we are a team with my colleagues, and every day we answer a lot of mails and calls.
As always, I will be honest with you and show a commercial where a doctor tells you how to choose doctors and pick the right clinic.
How to choose the right clinic for hair transplantation. Hair transplantation is a surgical procedure, should be conducted by trained professionals to ensure safe and effective results.
Pay attention to the comments, very much like a bot.
The surgical planning and the donor area assessment, and of course the hairline design. Each step of the process, from the evaluation to the post-operative care, should be conducted by trained professionals.
Çenesini buraya koyacak. What's that? Подбородок ставь.
This is the third or fourth x-ray in the last 3 weeks.
Do you have any plans for Russia? Because you know it's quite big market and many people cannot simply go to Turkey now, especially now. Maybe you have any plans for Russia? Because they really need good doctors.
Of course, Russia is also very important for us, like Europe, like US, like other countries, because I have a lot of passion from Russia. Now, because of the situation, it's really difficult to come to Turkey, having the surgery and go back. Just to payment is also another issue, and traveling is another issue. There is some problems. That's why maybe it's a good time to open a clinic in Russia. Actually, we try to open it in Brazil and in Europe also. Okay, you can do the surgery, but after performing, there is also another steps, as I explained before. So there's some treatments. There's also follow procedure post-op, and if we can be local in these countries, will be really better for our patient. We can make some treatments in the future. And sometimes, if we can have a permission, why not? We can perform also surgeries in these countries.
As an adult, I also need certain services also in the future. For more than 4 years, I have been studying not only hair transplants, but also rhinoplasty and dentistry for myself, because I am interested to see everything. And maybe someday I will tell you more about which doctors and clinics I have already checked out for dentistry, plastics, and rhinoplasty. Well, for now, I'm researching everything for myself. This is the plastic surgery floor. This is the room where patients stay before surgery. We prepare them. What kind of plastic surgeries are mostly performed? They do everything. I mean, breasts, nose, butt, liposuction, even aesthetics of legs and knees. As for men, men more often do the nose, often do liposuction of the breast, that is gynecomastia is called gynecomastia. Here they do it, the nose, and basically everything. Men are the ones who do liposuction. There's a lot of liposuction. Well, that's the kind of room patients stay in, rooms like this. It's 1, 2, 3, we have 4 rooms. Yes, there's a private restroom here, there's a room here. This is where, if someone wants to stay, this is where we lay them out. This is where they stay. Generally, how long you have to stay depends on the surgery. If it's a nose job, rhinoplasty, then the patient stays 7 nights, 8 days. On the 6th day after surgery, we remove the cast, we remove all the stitches, we take out the silicone tampons, and you can fly. After liposuction, we are on the 3rd day. Well, it just needs to be under control. On the 3rd day, the doctor controls it all. You can already leave, but we keep the patients so that there is a guarantee. We keep them for about 7 nights, 8 days.
We have a contact. The Russia gives us a permission. Now we are ready to open the clinic in Russia, in Moscow, of course.
Sounds good.
We already opened one in Sao Paulo, in Brazil.
Really?
Moscow will be the second. I was last week in Moscow. It's a great city, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
And I check some possible clinics. I feel really good. We can do something. We can be successful. I'm really excited. Now, in a couple of months, if everything's going well, I think we can open a clinic, and maybe we will perform end of this year the first surgery in Moscow.
What are the most complicated surgeries? The most complicated, I guess, well, for our doctors, there are no most complicated surgeries. We have very qualified doctors and very, very professional. And for them, there is no such thing that the operation is difficult, but there is such a thing. If there are many operations, it is difficult because more hours they spend more hours on the operation. So if rhinoplasty is an hour and a half, we have rhinoplasty doctor uses piezo technology. So piezo technique is where they don't break your septum.
End of this year, the first surgery in Moscow.
Sounds good. Who's gonna perform there?
So actually, I can go, not of course all the time, but 1 or 2 times in a month. I can go with my team, with my nurses, and I will perform myself. There are some surgeries, but of course we will have colleagues. Should be stay all the time in the clinic after surgery and before surgery, and also for the treatments. We will be 2 doctors. I will go, and 1 local doctor will be with me.
Do you have any idea already about capacity? How many clients you can get, I don't know, per week, per day, per month?
So for the treatment, there will be a big clinic, and we can treat more than 10 patients per day. Is a capacity, but surgery, we can finish the surgery minimum in 2 days. I can do maybe 2 surgeries in one time, in one travel. I will do it just 1 or 2 times per month. It means that 2 or 4 surgeries in a month. Just for beginning, of course. The future plan is not that. Future plan is fixing one of my colleagues in Moscow who can perform regular surgeries. But now for the beginning, I will go and I will give a start. Then we'll see. I will continue.
Is it difficult because, if I'm not mistaken, it's need like license or something?
I already got my license.
Oh, it's great.
Now we're going to the lounge. The lounge is where our patients relax, where they chill out. In the evening, the lounge is open to the public, so you can order your own food and sit in the lounge. Breakfast, lunch included. Breakfast, lunch is included, but it depends on the operation. So plastic surgeries, because they are in another hotel, only breakfast is included. At our initiative, we can give our patient a lounge as well. You just have to come here from another hotel. This is the area right here. There's a PlayStation in here. Here we have games. It all works. You can come play here in the evening. It's so nice.
What kind of treatment? Maybe you can also tell me more.
So, for the hair loss, we have limited options. As you know, mesotherapy is making injections, vitamins, dutasteride, minoxidil, different for patient to patient. We can decide what the patient needs. The second is PRP. Now, PRP is everybody knows what PRP is, but now in the last meeting we was together and we saw what is the difference between PRPs.
Meet the world's most famous bald man, Joe Biden.
Dr. Cole did together we did a study, and we can compare different PRP results.
Yeah.
And now, knowing which PRP works well, which not, and deciding which PRP and how many times and how many the dosage, the CC, is very important. This change everything. You cannot say is PRP work or not. If you decide for a good patient, a high quality PRP, you can get a successful results.
I've already made a video about PRP, but if you take away all the science, what 90 to 95% of cosmetic salons offer you for your hair has little efficacy. That's why you often do this procedure more for the psychological peace of mind that you've done the most you've been asked to do, or that you could do at all. Good PRP with a high effective platelet count specifically for hair requires specialized equipment, activators, and the right approach. Look for someone you can trust in this matter, who is on fire with their work and not just looking to make money off of you. What does this machine do? It has several attachments. Here, this is where they go. The nozzles are these ones right here. They have a special oil on them. That's the oil that crushes the fat. You drink it, and it comes out in the urine. Well, the machine is very cool. A lot of my patients love it. I mean, we don't just have patients from abroad. We also have patients from the consulate. This is our room. This is the room where we remove tattoos.
How usually patient can find you? Like through
They find us mostly from forums, YouTube channels, and Facebook and Reddit actually.
About forums, as you can see, many clinics still find their clients through forums. But some clinics, and I know for a fact, imitate activity and hype on those very forums. I have even been told about it by the employees of various clinics and doctors' assistants. That's why there you can often find different clinics with a focus on different clients depending on the country, although nobody in the world knows anything about them at all. They create dozens of fake accounts, write rave reviews about themselves, actively criticize competitors, offer supposedly exclusive discounts, constantly press on urgency on various discounts. Only today, the last places, book there because we have their only in 3 months in advance record and all sorts of nonsense. As a result, a person sees a heated alleged discussion and a lot of satisfied customers. But please think with yourself, who in 2025 is sitting on forums to create this great activity? And what for?
Another option is stromal vascular fraction, which means getting stem cells from adipose tissue. The difference is just not blood. From the adipose tissue you can get cells, and the effectiveness is much more stronger than PRP. You can make combination or you can apply it separately.
Could you explain a little bit more, because I didn't have any video yet.
Exosomes is not legal in every country. Now just they are performing some studies. Exosome is one of the name of the one of the vesicles. It has an important role between cells. And now science noticed that this vesicles has very important role. And you can get the exosome from plants, from animals, and also from human. It can be autolog. It means that we can have a vesicle from your body, or from another plants or animal, or from another people. So there is of course some concerns like allergy, like effectivity, and also complications. Now these treatments should have FDA approval, but still not. Now we know it's very effective. We know the feature, the exosome will bring to the medicine great differences, but we are not sure now, and we cannot use regularly. So What we can do with the exosomes is applying exosome topical, maybe with microneedling, but injection or IV treatment with exosome is not allowed now.
How about in Russia? Sorry for interrupting.
The same. I already have a contact with the company, worldwide companies. They have distributors in Russia, like in Turkey, like in Europe. We can buy from the legal distributors, and we can apply topical with microneedling.
How often need to do that?
So I was in the meeting. They offer 2-3 per year. So you should follow the results, because you can see the result not in short time. You need time. The first recommendation is applying 2 times and then waiting the results. But different people to people. Sometimes they also can offer 3. But first of all, you should explain to your patient the effect. You should apply it at least 2 times, and then you should wait 3 months, and you can check the results. The result cannot be a permanent. You should repeat it again in every 6 months or a year, and you should follow. If you think that the hair after 3 months, of course, with the dermoscope, you should examine, evaluate the situation. If you see that you can improve a little bit more, then next time you can apply 3 times. With this way, you can be sure for every patient which dose and how many sessions should be done.
Right.
About exosomes, now actively promoted as a revolutionary technology in hair treatment. In fact, this technology has existed for quite a long time. It is just now being actively promoted as a fashionable additional method on which you can make a lot of money. Yes, I have personally seen the positive results of using exosomes, but there is an important point. Quality real exosomes cost almost as much as an inexpensive hair transplant. And this is not a one-time procedure. It needs to be repeated at least once a year. At the same time, some clinics offer exosomes at suspiciously low prices. Guess for yourself what you are actually injected under the guise of exosomes. Always even mesotherapy, if you want mesotherapy, PRP, that is plasma therapy, it's all only by doctor's permission. And that's what our doctors do here. I mean, here in cosmetology, all our doctors can do it. These are not such complicated procedures, but only with the doctor's permission.
When they ask when I can get results, like even the first stage, let's say, of the results.
After 6 months, we start to see the result. Between 6 months to 1 year, we say. After 1 year, we can speak about the exact result.
We have hair transplants training, but we don't show it. It's off limits. Do you train outsiders or insiders? Students from outside. So we have doctors who come here who want to do transplants in their country, or they already do transplants, but just as a qualification, because in Turkey they are more so professionals, they are famous and more experience. And in Turkey it's they're right famous for hair transplants. How long does it take to train? It depends on what you want to take from the training.
People should understand it's not easy to find the correct doctor or clinic. Mistake is just deciding by advertising. Okay, it's because with the advertising they can show you really a different organization. Because don't look on the girls, don't look on the cars, don't look on the building. Please try to understand the quality, focus on the medical work. It is surgery. You should check the quality of the doctor and of the work. Don't look advertising and the other things. They can fake you with this way.
Let me tell you what I have realized during 4 years of meticulous work. The main thing is to choose a particular doctor. not a clinic. Why? Clinics are business systems sharpened for sales. They invest in marketers, advertising, bloggers. The whole machine works so that you make a quick emotional decision and take out your wallet. When you are shown the results of work, ask specific questions. Who exactly did the operation, the doctor's name, how many operations he does per day, per week, whether he is a regular practitioner or a touring doctor who flies in once a month, what exactly in the operation he does himself and what the assistants do. Do not fall for the beautiful packaging, loud promises, and especially bloggers who are paid to make you look at them and think, that's the person, if he even chose this clinic, I will definitely go there. They're just paid for their face. Do not fall for the beautiful packaging and loud promises. Look for a real specialist with a proven track record that you can verify. Check all the facts. Don't rush into a decision. This is why you are being swayed emotionally, so that you make quick and wrong decisions on emotion.
Some clinics like very good that you focus in limited quantity of patient per day. Some clinics they manufacture. They have 70, 75 rooms.
Yeah.
They can do, and well, in one room they can make 2 surgeries per day. So they can perform 120, 140 surgeries per day.
Yeah.
And I check this kind of clinics. I have no idea who performed surgery. Even as name, I have no answer.
Yeah.
I have no idea who is it. Imagine how many results they can show. The portfolio is huge. Even from 140 clients per day, they can get only 20 good one. It's still 20. Even maybe another 100, it's totally very bad.
I know. There is also some organization exactly like that in Turkey, worldwide, in Europe, in India, in US, everywhere. Just we should fight with them.
Exactly.
And another committee in ISHRS is Fight the Fight. It's just the only goal is fighting with the black market. I like this name. Its description is great. It's black market.
It's getting huge now.
Yeah. Yes, it's huge, but we should fight with them.
There's around 150 million queries about aesthetic surgery, and just only about hair transplantation, 70 million queries. So it's growing. This industry is growing, and the problem is, all around the world, only 5,000 something registered doctor in hair restoration. Doctor registered in a society or certificated by the government. So the number of the surgeries and the number of the doctor, when you compare this, it's not possible to do all these surgeries by doctors. So the market is going to non-doctor clinics, non-doctor places. It's growing and growing that way. So education of the potential patient is the most important thing, because people think that hair transplantation is not a serious procedure. So
Celebrity transplants, friends, neighbors, where bloggers have done. We often focus on other people's experiences. But think about it. Everyone has a different approach. Everyone has a different budget, physiology. And each case should be analyzed separately, as for bloggers, because they do it for free and sometimes even paid for it. Especially now, it is relevant and developed in Russia. It is simply a business scheme to attract clients. Now look at the world practice. Serious doctors never publicly discuss which of the famous people have had hair transplants. Think about it. And this is at least a matter of professional ethics and reputation. Who on the whole market will shout, I had a hair transplant, Joe Biden? Street hawker? A person who values his health and, most importantly, respects himself will never go to the first place to have surgery because of a free offer of a hair transplant or a monetary reward. Such free offers to bloggers are one of the ways to manipulate you. But nothing in this life is free, so everyone will pay for everything. You'll see.
okay, if they think like this, if the result is not good enough, I can do another place, so I will improve the result. But they don't know that they are losing. The only thing that you cannot get back your donor area.
And they're also losing trust for hair transplant.
In general, yeah.
In general, exactly.
And it's not easy to extract wrong direction, unnatural looking. even you are an experienced doctor, sometimes some results are coming to me. I can say, I'm sorry, I cannot touch you because the donor damaged. And all the directions of to transplanted hair is a different way, so it's not easy to handle that case. So a doctor can control this team under the supervision of a doctor, because of that competition in the prices. People are going very, very, very low quality places. That's the problem.
Let's look at a simple hierarchy. Serious clinics have a chief doctor with 20 years of experience. Under him are experienced doctors with 10 years of experience. Then there are head nurses and the rest of the medical staff. It's a fine-tuned system where everyone knows their job. And now imagine, your operation is done by novices and students. Who is in charge of them? And so that you do not have time to think about it all, you are flooded with advertising and reviews, including bloggers. This is an easy way to distract you from the main question: who will actually do your surgery on your head? And there's only one way to go about it. Educate your clients on how they can choose a particular doctor, what really matters and what doesn't.
And the only way is explaining to the people how they should choose the doctor and what is important, what is not. The transfer is not important. Please don't check the transfer, the quality. The transfer is just having a taxi.
Yeah, or design of the clinic, or
there is a lot of, it's worldwide, lot of applications. You can come from the airport to my clinic. Don't worry about it. Just please concentrate on the doctor, not on the foods, not on the transfer, not hotel. Just please understand, try to understand the quality of the work. Actually, for a good result, every step is very important.
Of course.
You cannot choose some of them. So the decision is very important. Long-term plan is the most important thing. You cannot offer for everybody the same plan, the same hairline. Everybody needs different lines, different densities and different results. Sometimes you can satisfy one of the patient with very high, very conservative hairline and with less density because he has maybe very advanced hair loss and he understands that low hairline and very dense result is not possible. There is some options: low density plus scalp micropigmentation, low density plus some treatments, stem cell treatments, medical treatments is very important thing. Minoxidil and finasteride. It's very complicated.
Let's be honest. I originally planned to only show you hair transplants at HLC. This is their main specialty with 2 decades of experience. They are not an add-on service like some other clinics. But here, like many modern clinics, there has been a trend to offer additional options, including dentistry. An important point, I pay for my treatment myself, and that is what allows me the freedom to tell the pure truth as it is. I don't owe anyone anything. So, for the solution to my problem here, I paid 200 euros. Honestly, it didn't work. And before that, there was another clinic, but already in Bangkok. Total problem was solved in the office at the home of a doctor in Buenos Aires for only $30, and this is a clear example of the fact that expensive does not mean quality, and a big name of the clinic does not guarantee the result in all directions. But you should not think that cheap specialists are the best specialists. You need to look everywhere and dig deep. And I'm off to see the last stage of my hair transplant, graft implantation, which by the way is different from other clinics. Now we will look at the direct operation of graft transplantation. The 2 zones are the front line and the scalp area. It's important to understand, I am an expert who is in the operating rooms of leading hospitals around the world, where most people simply cannot go. I do not represent the interests of specific clinics, and I am not their competitor. My goal is to create a unique expertise that no one else in this world has by combining 3 key areas. One is practical experience. Weekly consultations, presence at surgeries around the world give me access to thousands of real cases. The second is trichology. After all, most hair loss problems can be prevented in the early stages. Unfortunately, it is the incompetence of many trichologists that leads us to hair loss, and the solution is not in minoxidil or various expensive products that clinics or various manufacturers capitalize on. There are real methods and system of hair restoration, what I do for my clients. The third thing is aesthetics. As a professional international portrait artist, I see proportions. For me, the result is not just hair restoration, but creating a harmonious look.
What do you think? Is it possible to find a good doctor in not expensive or cheap clinics?
So, it's a difficult question. Okay, I will ask you another question. If I'm a doctor, if I know that I am a good doctor, I perform good surgeries, why I should charge cheap price? Because I know there is an average budget for good quality work. Then why I should charge it cheap price? Because I know that there is not too much or enough high quality doctor for performing per day in the world the surgeries. That's why I can charge. There is an average price. You cannot charge more. You cannot charge also too less, too cheap.
Yeah, actually I know that it's also like exploring clinics around the world and doctors. It's really like name doctors.
Yeah.
They have like average price.
Yeah.
And average price, it's like it's almost the same level. Yeah.
So it's also business. If I fill in all my schedule in 2 years, it means then I can increase my prices with the time. If I cannot fill in my schedule, I should make discounts. That is also a business. Okay, we are performing surgeries, but it also has a business part. If you can fill in your schedule and you can get a good price.
Yes, doctors come in many forms. Upstarts, tired doctors, businessmen. I'm looking for those who are dedicated to their work. Such uncut diamonds, underestimated masters of their craft, who focus not on marketing, but on their work.
For you, top 5 doctors in the world?
So, I should say I'm an emotional person. That's why I cannot focus just on the quality of the work. I know the people as top 5. I have a personal contact with top 50, top 100. I know every name personally. And that's why sometimes you can like the job, but sometimes personally you will not like him. Or
about job, let's say.
About job. Okay, I try to focus.
Yes.
High quality and good person. I think in my opinion, the best surgeon in the world is Dr. Heitman. Lars Heitman focus on the every graft, not every patient, every graft by himself, and he check every graft. He cut every graft by himself. It's a perfect combination, perfect plan for one patient. So there is in Europe known names. In Turkey also I have colleagues. It's very difficult to say because I can say, of course, but if I say some name, another colleagues can tell me why I'm not in 5. That's why I don't want this. I told you for me who's important. I have a lot of colleagues and we have like a family. I don't want to say some of the names, please, but just one day the best for me is the Lars Heitman, which fully booked in 5 years. That's why no need any new business. He's the best guy.
So hair transplant can change life.
Yes, I know that. I know how important for the people is. It's not just a simple surgeries or having more hair. It is has role in your social life, in your psychology, in your family life. It's in every part of your life. It's very important. Not for everybody, but some of patient. I can feel it. I know that.
Thank you, doctor.
You're welcome.